So today I heard from a friend of mine, and she was basically asking me how I got started doing paranormal things. And basically, I grew up doing it. I was seeing things that aren't necessarily there to the average person since I was a very young girl, talking to those that have crossed over, more or less. However you want to call that, whether you believe it, don't believe it, um, it is true. It just is. Or I'm just out of my mind. um, but yeah, I've been seeing the deceased since I was a young girl, and I started doing readings when I was in, I want to say, the seventh grade. I started really getting into my gifts and learning about it, only to kind of like push it away as I got older, became a teenager, was busy, high school, boys, all that stuff. And as I got into my 20s, I kind of hit a point where I couldn't deny it anymore, and I had to just adjust and use what God had given me, which is a gift to see the other side and to have dreams and know things that others couldn't know. And I do read cards, I do medium for people, I do all sorts of things. I assess houses, I have cleansed houses, I have worked with different people for different things with their houses. Some hauntings, some just sort of energy balancing. One case that I had a few years back, actually, before I really had a really good handle on my actual strength. Um, I had a doozy of a case. I mean, it was just all the land was just extensive. It was such a big piece of land, and I just I did the best I could. Like, I eventually had to just sort of hand it off and just tell the woman that she'd have to get a team in, because I couldn't do it by myself anyway. So yeah, I've seen all sorts of crazy stuff. I have dealt with, I don't know if you want to call them demons, or I don't know, just icky. I call them beasties personally, the big beasties. Little beasties, they come in different shapes, different sizes. Some are not as scary, some are really scary. I've dealt with a lot of that. I have places that I won't go. There's a certain place in my local cemetery that I am not allowed to go. I used to always go. I was like drawn to it since I was a little kid. And yeah, as I got older, I kind of learned a lot more about it, and I can't go near that anymore because it's just not good for me. Um, there's definitely something in there that is um, not a holy thing. And it turns out that that particular piece of land where this thing is inside the cemetery is actually not all hollowed ground, which you'd think the cemetery is hollowed ground, everything has to be safe, but no, not so much. This is on the edge, and apparently way back, there was some situation, I guess, where they had to put this thing, and call it a thing because I don't want to get into it. I don't like to talk about it too much. I don't like to give it more power than it already has by, giving it a name. It has a name. It is what it is. We're not going to talk about that. But it was kind of pushed in there through the non-holy ground and kind of shoved in there. And basically, anybody that's inclined, especially younger people, especially really young people, they're going to be susceptible to hearing a call and wanting to go there. And for many years, I was just, man, every time I went into that cemetery, I was just beelining over there. Like, as soon as I was done seeing my grandpa, seeing my grandma, even sometimes on the way to go to them, I would just have to go by it. And then I would just, I don't know. I was like obsessed. It was kind of creepy. And I called one of my psychic medium friends, um, and talked to her about it, and she forbid me to go back. So I haven't been back to it. Um, I do think about it. I'm not gonna lie. It's still interesting to me. I've tried to look it up online. There is very little information, which is kind of creepy. Because at this day and age, you can find a lot of information, but there's like nothing about it. Um, so yeah, I kind of had to leave that alone. Um, but anyway, back to what I was talking about, the other case with a lot of land. Um, it basically was a huge area of Indian burial ground where it hadn't been broken until these people built their home. And the last people that were on this land, really, other than people walking around, I guess, really, um, were Indians and in the Civil War. And like, it was all sorts of crazy. I don't, it might not be the Civil War. Like, don't quote me. I'm really bad at history. Somebody told me what war it was. I don't know. But the point being is it was the war that, ended up in Connecticut. And apparently they took some of the Indians and would capture them and put them in like their clothing to like send them in, almost like a double agent kind of thing. I don't know how to explain it, but I have pictures even in one of my accounts from this case where you can see like this old Indian man in a uniform, and it's crazy. Like, it's, I don't know, it blew my mind when this picture came out. I mean, I'll try to post it with this video if I can pull it out. It's just, I don't know, it blew my mind when I got these pictures back and saw it, because there is just so much activity in this place. And it was just, by the fourth time I had went out there, um, it was absolutely insane. And they could see me coming. And I mean, I could see them because I could always see them ever since the first time I came. But they knew already that I was on my way, that I had my bag full of tricks, my stuff, my herbs and my crystals, everything I needed. And it was a hell of a battle. And what I ended up doing was kind of taking this one awful thing that I really couldn't remove and kind of confining it to like a raptor in her basement, and kind of, it's hard to explain, but it kind of was stuck there. And like after a few months, I basically gave the opportunity, like, hey, you can either stay here or you can go. I had pled the blood of Christ over everything. Whether you believe that, not believe it, that's on you. But in this situation, it's what was called for. And the way that works with a demonic thing is whenever it touches anything that has the blood of Christ on it basically burns it. It hurts them. So they want nothing to do with it. So I confined it to like this small spot. And a few months later, I came back and I basically unblessed a window, took the blessing, a charm, whatever you want to call it, took it off a window, told it, you can go, get out, go wherever you go. It's not my job to tell you where to go. Don't be here. And sure enough, it did go. And, I sealed up the house. And I told them basically leave the land alone. Don't build anything else. Do not, under any circumstance, take down any more of the trees, which unfortunately they continued to do. And sure enough, I got a call that there was activity again, that things were running amok. And, I went out there and I saw, the equipment, I saw the trees down, and I was like, what are you doing? And at that point, I had to resign myself from the case. That's basically how I ended up leaving it, and I felt really awful. I did what I could, I blessed what I could, but, it's a word to the wise. If a psychic medium or ghost hunter or whoever tells you don't do something because it's aggravating your situation, don't do it. Just don't. Um, it's the best advice I can give you, is if you're told, don't cut the trees, don't take down a certain wall, don't this, don't that. Just don't. Just don't, because as soon as you do, you're opening up a whole can of worms. I had lived in a house where there was a little like cubby hole, and I told him repeatedly, do not open that. Don't open it. As soon as he did, because who listens to me? I'm only a psychic medium that they know tends to be correct. But, you know, people do what they do. He opened it. Sure enough, within a matter of days, he was a totally different person, doing totally different things, and it got worse and worse. I can't even say where he is right now because it's a personal, private situation with my group of friends. But he's not in a great place right now, and I think a lot of it has to do with going in that space. And I wish that he hadn't done it, but it is what it is, and I don't know. I kind of just wanted to tell you people, everybody, how I got started doing it, and I guess if you want to hear more stories like this, or whatever I come up with next that I'm going to talk about, just hit subscribe or tune in again. Hit like if you like it. Hit don't like if you don't like it. Hopefully I will see you again here soon. And if you want to hear more like this, leave me a comment. Let me know. Let me know what you're interested in. And I will see you guys again soon. Have a good night, good day, whenever you're watching it. Take care. Find me on Facebook, Foxy Martini. Actually, no, I'm incorrect. It's Foxy Fletch. I just found that out. I thought it was Foxy Martini, but it's not. It is Foxy Fletch. It is in the description. My Twitter is Foxy Martini. You can find that in the description as well as any other information. And I will see you all soon. Have a good night.